Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles, the dogs. There's an Ice Age TV sticker. Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com if you want to talk to me and get a sticker. There's your old key for doing business this morning. Wow, what an incredible, beautiful Wednesday morning. And I feel supercharged. I feel supercharged today. Yeah, really? Not really. Oh my gosh. What an evening of yesterday. Of that, wow. All I can say, if you watch my channel, you'll know what played out yesterday. Woo! What a blast. What a crazy day. What a crazy evening. And woo, that's all I can say is wow. And thanks so much for tuning in to my channel. Good morning there to everybody who watches my channel regularly. This is the big day, everybody. This is the big day of its Supercharger Day. I am taking my Ford Mustang to the dealer today to put on a supercharger. So I thought the word of the day is supercharger. The Whipple supercharger. Here it is. You look at this thing here, this big old animal. This is the supercharger. There's all the components to make it become one of its own, and it's a twin screw. That's the known thing. Is it's the twin screw Whipple charger. That's what Whipple's known for. And I'm trying to see here for something the date. Back in April, this was inspected. Hard to believe. Back in April, this was finished or inspected, and I didn't even get it till like what was it? Late June. Yeah, wow, right? Wow, but here's the car. So here's the car. So I thought this morning I'd be creative, and I'd open up the Ford Mustang so you can look at the engine compartment, and you think to yourself, how the heck is that thing going to fit in there? And I mean, wow, how the heck? Yeah, I'm with you on that. So let's get the dogs in the office, the barn, and kind of get the morning going here. So I've got my doors open, and I already got in the shop, so I had to get my keys out for the truck and the Mustang to show off my adventure today. And you know what? Kind of disappointed because my good friend Dennis that runs Coons Baltimore Ford, I called him up and inquired about me getting a supercharger put on his dealership. And the new service guy there wasn't too keen on my idea. He was totally resistant to doing anything, which I was really shocked that a selling Ford dealer would not be wanting to put this Whipple supercharger on. Hey, come on, pups. This is crazy because the storage in the vacuum. Nope, you're not going upstairs, man. You're just too much work. No, you're not doing it. No. Jesus Christ, man. He's a lot of work. That dog will kick your ass. Yes, he will. I mean, whoo. That dog is just high output, 24 hours a day. That's why they're guard dogs and they're attack dogs. They're supercharged. Yeah, German Shepherds are supercharged dogs. That's the reality. So anyways, I called my good friend Dennis. I texted him 2 days ago. And I was even talking about yesterday in my YouTube channel of the adventures out to Skyline Harley to get my flat bar. My flat bar for my CVO ST. So my Harley Davidson flat bar here, if you look, here it is. This is what I'm going to put in the back rear saddlebag. And it's, if you watch my channel, you'll know it's a redundant story. But this is a Harley Davidson product that's backordered for the most part. It's very challenging to find this part. I truly lucked out yesterday getting this from Skyline Harley. And coincidentally, a guy named Adam Sandoval, I think that's his name. He's a well-known motorcycle Harley enthusiast who goes around and raises money for the Wounded Warrior Project. So he's got his own gig and YouTube channel and apparently raises a lot of money for those. But I got those, the mirror, called it the mirror conversation because I'm going to mirror the front straight bar look with the rear saddlebag straight bar look, which will look just like that in the back. And that's just me kicking a boot right there. It's not a permanent scratch. You're watching my video here. So yesterday, that was a great adventure out to Skyline Harley, and it's all on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it, instead of me being redundant on my conversations for those who do follow me. But wow, what an evening of the turbocharger. So yeah, today's conversation is a supercharger, But yet yesterday, if you see what I did in my Honda Talon, that's turbocharged. I flipped this thing on its side. Yeah, wow. And this thing just hauls ass. I mean, this thing really does. And I really made a mistake because I was on the back dirt roads, and I should have put this thing in all-wheel drive. Had I put it in all-wheel drive, I would not have crashed this yesterday because the back end busted out loose. And it's just like, wow. But this thing just hauls ass. And and here's the thing, this has got a turbo on it, and you kind of do some research of which is the better way to go when you want to make more power of your car, and you should twin charge it. In all reality, you should supercharge it and turbocharge it if you can. But a turbocharger is actually more efficient. They claim that a turbocharger is using the exhaust gases to help force that air induction into your car. And that's the whole thing. On a supercharger, if anybody's not really abreast of what goes on, you put these superchargers on top of your engine because it's now like an air compressor, forcing air into the engine to get air quicker to allow you to burn fuel quicker. That increases power to your engine. And Whipple has been around for many years, and Whipple has put many superchargers, and even I think is the Ford, I'm not real sure, I think it is, yeah, the Ford Whipple. You can go to Ford Performance and buy a Ford Whipple supercharger setup. And that was the argument. I mean, I was literally, in some ways, arguing with this new guy, service guy, at Coons Baltimore Ford yesterday, because I was just blown away. But I think, Dennis, my good friend, he texted me, and he really what he was saying to me was they've lost some good techs. So I guess the guy was not wanting just to come to, I guess the guy just didn't want to admit to me that, hey, I don't have a guy that can do this. I think that's more maybe what was going on, because he's a new service advisor there at Coons Baltimore Ford. So no hate to Coons Baltimore Ford. That's not really the conversation. It's just I was taken back because he's like, well, I will not warranty that work for you. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm like, Whipple puts a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on the stage 1 kit, not the stage 2. It's a little tamer setup. And yeah, a lot of people are saying you should do the Coyote truck. Yeah, I don't disagree that the Coyote truck should be done. I'm sure that may be a project down the road. But for the moment, I'm focused on the Dark Horse because I think it's going to give me so much of the GT500 flair with a manual transmission that you can't get in a GT500 modern, the 2020 and on, and they don't build them anymore. And that was a big complaint, is you couldn't get a manual transmission in GT500. All you could get was a DCT. So for me, what's going to be really cool is I'm going to have a really cool Mustang that's a manual that's going to have 700 plus horsepower. My guess is this is going to be about a 750 horsepower, maybe 770, maybe. I don't think it's going to be 800. More than enough for me to have fun in it. But back to Coons Baltimore Ford, the gentleman was saying to me that he would not be able to warrant this installation. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're telling, he's like, that's going to be a Whipple, claim. But I'm like, but you're the dealer who put it in. You wouldn't be able to talk to Whipple about if you blow the engine up. So very aggravating. And I was like, you know what, that's fine, that's good. It's not meant to be. So now I started thinking to myself, who do I use? So I started making some phone calls, and I called one guy that specializes in doing this. That's not a Ford dealership, it's just an automotive shop that does customization. I know there's specialty Mustang places out there, like up in Delaware. So there's definitely, if anybody watch my channel, you can reach out if you want. But at the same time, I got this really great service guy that used to work at Coons Baltimore Ford that did the whole GT Mustang, lowering that suspension. My daughter's car, when we walk out the front door, you see that Mustang sitting there. And he did the Steeda suspension, springs, did the support bars, the Roush exhaust, and did the shorty shifter on that car down there in front of my house. Julia's ride. And so he did a great job. And he was really very, very nice about how much he made me pay for it. So I have his phone number, and I texted him, and I was able to get a hold of him. And now he's at the Silver Spring Ford dealership, which is in all reality, it's in some ways the same distance, or if not maybe a little closer, maybe debatable, than Cruise Baltimore Ford. So yesterday, he really is a detailed guy, and I spent a lot of time with him on the phone, and he really, he told me he's done many Superchargers. He hasn't done the new one, and he said the smartest thing to do is come by with the box and let me see everything that's in the box, and I can give you a better idea how much it's going to cost. His concern is he's going to have to rip apart this front end to be able to, he's going to have to take apart to be able to get some components inside this engine. And, he just really believes this, this is a big project. And he's like, you're doing a motor build. He's like, in so many ways, you're tearing down a motor and putting it back together, because there's a guy out there that I thought maybe could do it on the side. And that's what I was talking about yesterday, is maybe I have somebody come that does mechanical work and they'd have the tools and equipment and bring it aside. But then I got to thinking, you know what? That's not a good idea, because whatever happens, that's going to be hard for the claim. I think it'll be a little more challenging. And so for Dave, he's worked with Whipple in the past where somebody's engine is blown up. He knows the procedures. And sure, is it expensive? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I sound like, wow. I figured this would be about a $2,000. My thoughts were it would be like a $2,000, $2,500 bill for the dealer to put this in. Well, I called a guy that's just a shop outside of the dealership network that doesn't Ford dealer. He wanted $3,500, and he wanted the car for 10 days. I'm like, 10 days? What the hell? Is he gonna be hot dogging my car? That's my attitude. He's like, oh yeah, he'll keep the car for 10 days. He'll get that thing put in 2 or 3, and then the rest of the time he'll just be out hot dogging that car and be telling me, oh yeah, I just got to make sure it runs right. I want to make sure it's that. I don't want to give it back to you. These stories, like, nah, I don't feel good about that at all. So, and the guy didn't sound very. He just didn't sound very like, he just seemed, I didn't have a good feeling. So I kept on calling. So for the moment, I think the smartest idea is take the Mustang over to the Silver Spring Ford dealership, take the truck over with the Supercharger, and then have David look at the box. He really wants to see what all the components are, and if it really is everything he really needs to make this thing be a flawless installation. Which, as anybody knows, yeah, right. One isn't ever just flawless. And so, but I think I'm going to be at a $3,500, maybe even $4,000 bill. Wow. Yeah, even for me, it's like, wow. Do I do it? I mean, that's just a lot of money. You start adding in. This is where, you get these cars and you buy them and you start modding them. I mean, this becomes a very expensive car. And will you ever get it back out of this car? I just can't see it. I can't see this being like a $68,000 car, $13,000 Supercharger, $4,000 in work, and then I did the exhaust underneath of it, the H pipe, and I redid then mac and cheese, Max custom exhaust. I mean, realistically, there's another $1,000. I mean, it just starts adding up. Woo! All of a sudden, you've got a $100,000 car for a Mustang, and I'm sure somebody like, whoa, man, that's just way too salty for What can you buy used that's going to, eat that thing up? Buy yourself a nice Nissan GTR used at $100,000 that'll smoke that thing. Yeah, I hear you. I do hear you. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't disagree. But today's, it's a supercharged day. But here's the thing. Who invented the supercharger? When was it patented? And as usual, you got to go to Europe. It seems like the Europeans really were the flair of the day that got a lot of the things going in the automotive world. So a guy named Gottlieb Daimler actually patented the Supercharger back in 1885. So, and then back in the 1920s and 30s, Superchargers were used. It was a very common installation back in that day to get the power out of the cars, and was used quite a lot. And so then the next thing is there's 3 different types of Superchargers. The Whipple is the twin screw, which many believe that's the best setup. But then there's others that are out there that aren't, as so many say, as good. Let me see if I get my phone here up and going. And so here we go. So here's the types of Superchargers. Roots type of Supercharger, that's like the first one that was originally the original production. But they say it's just not a very good, it's the least efficient Design does require signaling space for installation, has a violent throttle response. Then you have the centrifugal supercharger, and they say the cons, no boost at lower revolutions, not as robust at lower engine speeds. Installation require the removal of several features. The twin screw supercharger, they're saying, let's see here, if we go down to so immediate boost, lightweight and compact design, almost silent operation, minimal power consumption, positive displacement design, and more. So they're using the F-150 truck with the Coyote motor. So what's interesting is they're showing here that, like on my Coyote motor, it's the D-Tune 5.0 motor, it's 400 horsepower. They're saying you can get up to like 700 horsepower and the Ford Performance Whipple supercharger kit. And that's what the one guy was saying yesterday from Coons Baltimore Ford. He was adamant about saying to me that is this the Ford Whipple supercharger performance thing that you bought from Ford? And I'm like, no, it's not. I bought it directly from Lethal Performance, but it came right from Whipple direct, and it took me 8 months to get the damn thing. And so, but he kept on referencing the Ford Performance. Like, no, it's not the Ford Performance. But he's like, well, I can't do it. I can't warrant it. So I don't want anything to do with it. That's basically what he was saying to me, is I don't want anything to do with it. But David at the other dealership, he was all open arms, like, yeah, I'll do that. What's the big deal? And I didn't really get into too much specifics with him on that. And so you're gonna witness later here is us driving over the trucks, because we're gonna have 3 vehicles going, actually. So we're gonna have a daughter in the Bronco, Brian, well, maybe Brian the Bronco, the daughter probably want to drive the truck, and then me in the Mustang. Yeah, I got a new helper in my business named Brian. So he's going to start kind of doing work for me and see if he kind of evolves into my business. So what's pretty cool is I think I found a guy. It took about 1.5 years, but I think I found a guy that's going to kind of come into my business now and help a lot of responsibility. And he's a young guy, and he's a really cool guy. And so I think that some headway is being made for me business-wise, where I can have somebody else take on tasks and projects. And when I'm going to leave town, I have somebody that I can rely on to help take care of my business, because my key guy, Bob, who's the cancer survivor, he, I'm like blown away. He qualified to buy a second home, and he bought a house down in Hamptons of Virginia, and he's moving. So he's leaving this area. He lives in Charlestown, West Virginia, and he's been a great friend of mine since 1993. I met him in 1993, if I'm correct. Could have been 92, but so I've known him. He's helped me in my business for so many years on a part-time basis, and he's helped me babysit my property and take care of the dogs. And he's moving on. He's like 65 years old, and he and his wife want to live down near the water. And so at the end of this month, he's gone. So I really have lost one of my key guys that always gave me a lot of freedom to go and do things and get away. And if you're watching my channel, you'll know that Joe, one of my key guys for over 12 years, he left. He left last year, and that was very challenging for me to see him go. And that really put a dampener in me being able to go places and do things. And then my good friend Bob, he got cancer, throat cancer, and then I lost him last summer. So it's been very challenging for me as a small business owner to come to closure, to finally find somebody I feel good about to work for me. Because when you're a small business, it's very challenging. I'm a very small company, and I've been always a very small company. And finding the right individual that you can trust and deal with is not easy. It's not easy to do that, and to be able to afford them, because so many people today are demanding such high incomes to get a job. And so we're going to see. I'm going to give them about 30 days to, and you saw him last night. If you saw my Honda Talon video, it's up. You can watch it. Wow, I just crashed my Honda Talon. You'll see him in that video. He's a younger gentleman, and he's a great guy. And so you see in the video when he and I were riding together, and I rolled this thing on its side, and these seatbelts are phenomenal. I mean, he was literally like strapped in that seatbelt, and the unit, fell over on my side. I hit the ground, and didn't hit my head. I hit my arm, and he was just literally right there, strapped, all secured in with that seatbelt, and holding him in position. And so that was pretty phenomenal. I scraped the hell out of my arm, but nothing radical. I mean, in all sincereness, if I didn't know I did it, meaning there's no pain there. I don't know if you can see it here in the mirror to hold my coffee up. So yeah, it's just nothing that radical per se. And I didn't really hurt myself. So, but I sewed that unit down so good. He had such phenomenal brakes that once I lost control of that, coming around behind, then I ran into the ditch, which then put me in a position to roll it over. We had slowed down dramatically. So the brakes on that thing is phenomenal. That thing just hauls ass. That turbo on that thing is incredibly fast. Yes, I hit some high 60-mile-an-hour numbers in the back roads over there, just like wow. So and Brian, he was just all out, man. He's like, this is so much fun, and that didn't rattle him. He's like, man, let's do it all over again. And that's the thing. When you're out there playing, if we're playing with your toys, the odds are against you. And those things there, you've seen all the videos of people who buy these things side by sides, and they just go beat the hell out of them in the backwoods. I mean, but they're designed. I mean, it's a roll cage. If you look at the structure of this Talon, it's all built with Honda knowing the odds are you may flip this thing. I mean, it's all designed to be crashed in so many ways. And I think I scratched up the body a little bit, but nothing too bad. I mean, nothing that I'm really going to be like, oh my gosh, it doesn't really, bother me. But man, we stayed out in the pool until late last night. That pool is so much fun. I'm going to tell you what, I just love my pool. I was out there last night. I know it'll close to like 10 o'clock. I mean, it was such a great evening. And I took the gator out. So the gator, the kid, and Brian, the dogs, we were all blasting around. And the gator, we were blasting around the Talon. And I got this crazy idea to take the Talon up the road, which is, there's a fine line there where I live of doing that. I could get myself in trouble. It's all sincereness. If there had been a cop on the back road and come around that corner and see that thing sitting on its side, he probably would have given me a hard time, probably given me a ticket. Because technically, those things in this area are not legal to drive on the roads. So it's just, a stroke of luck. So here's the pool. It's holding its own, thank God. And it's just so much fun. It's just so hot up here. It's perfect. And it's very warm in the evening too. It's just that time of year. So it's a lot of fun. So right now, David, my service guy, I really feel like he's a great guy. I was disappointed to see that he didn't work out there at the Coons Baltimore 4, but no hard feelings. He moved on. He's a really talented, good guy. And he's saying probably like 2 days. So he's basically saying, and I told him it's no rush. So for me, drop this off today. Mac, I got to take this back to Mac's garage. I can't believe how he totally screwed up that left side of that muffler. Look at the exhaust. It's so bad. I can't believe after you watch that video with he and I going back and forth, I try to get that level up in the air, and at the end, it's bad. It's really bad. I got to take it back to him and have him redo that. And which he's up for that. I told him about it. It's just time. It's all it is. It's just like the splitter. It's just time. So he's saying, about 2 days. So today's Wednesday. So do I get it back Friday? I don't know. Do I get it back Saturday? And wow. And for everybody here who's watching my channel, you're going back to December of last year. So we're now, technically we're 8 months. It's 8 months later that I'm going to put this on my car. 8 months. Wow. Because it's a brand new car. It's a brand new technology. And I can only hope that they don't run into issues with tuning this thing, because one guy on my YouTube channel reached out to me saying, what a bummer it took so long for you to get your supercharger. But he referenced, his tuner was having a heck of a time getting his to operate properly with his car. So what's that all about? Yeah. I mean, all this technology and everything. It's the 4Scan Ford technology, I think, is what they call it. So anybody out there that yesterday was watching my video talking about, how could I find somebody to come in my shop and work on it and blah, 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 and do it. I think it's called it's called like the 4Scan, I think, is the Ford software program that enables you to open up the module, all the electronics, all the computers inside the vehicle to figure out how to make things match up, if you understand that. And that's, I'm sure, very expensive to have for yourself. If you're just a guy doing stuff on the side, but like David, the service guy, said, he's like, you know, if you let somebody do that project on your car, and God forbid if that thing caught on fire or the engine blows up or whatever may happen, you know, who the heck knows? He's like, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to put a claim on that damn car. So, and here's the thing. I mean, sincerely, is a guy going to come out here that's a real mechanic that, you know, makes good money in dealership? Is he going to come to my house and just charge like $2,000 to do the work? I would doubt it. You probably want $2,500. Would he maybe want $3,000? I don't really know. But the whole point is, now you're just chopping. You know, now I save myself $1,000, but I don't really have the representation if anything goes wrong. Versus for the David at the Ford dealer, you know, he knows how to handle this. He says if the engine blows up, I know how to handle all this. I can do that for you. If the engine blows up, we'll put a claim in and we'll get that resolved. And I know how to work with Whipple and I know how to work with Ford. So he's like, it won't be a big deal. And so when you hear that type of conversation, that's a lot more confident to me that, you know, he knows he's done it. That's why he's been around doing this stuff his whole life. That's the guy you want to deal with. So the point is, yeah, a guy comes to my shop and he charges me $2,500. I take the dealership, pay $3,500. So at this point, $1,000, and I don't really have the backing. It's not worth it. I think most would agree with that. Got the kids' Chinese wind deflectors, if you know what that is. These little things here. So, you know, it's incredible today what goes on in the aftermarket for Harley. And if I can get them out, it's the little things here that you get. So sorry about the phone. I might turn the phone off because it'll turn into a fiasco. So these are these little side vent things that give you the deflection of air off your bike. Let's see if I can get it to open up. Get in here and lose all the screws right in front of you, which that down the road will be a major mistake on my behalf. Like, oh, I lost all the screws, and which that's not good. So I'm gonna just dump them all right there right now and hope we don't lose them. So here it is, right here. Sorry for the delay, everybody, but it's never easy when you're trying to, you know, bring things out one-handed, and you guys are getting probably seasick watching me do all this. But here it is. This is the side deflectors that you put on your bike that go up here on the fairing. And what I'm going to say to you is that how this here, you know, you mount these here like this. This is the right side, maybe the wrong side, or maybe I'm doing it wrong, whatever it may be. But anyways, these here, it keeps the air movement off of you, or it deflects the air into you, and it's a huge difference. And these things twist out, and it gives you really, you know, a lot of airflow into your body to give you more direct air, like air conditioning is what we call it, the air conditioning vents or the heater vents, because in winter months it gives you more protection up front from the air coming on you. Now the newer bikes, like my CVO ST, they redesigned it, and if you look here, look how this air. So this is the same concept. You can take and turn that in, and then that captures the air and it pulls it into your body and gives you nice air, or it deflects it away from you so you're not getting that direct air on you. And then over there, see, that's the old technology, and look how different it is. So it's just a little tab, and I don't even know, never even looked into it, I don't even know if they have aftermarket. That they probably do, that you can direct out like that did. So it's a pretty ingenious thing. And once again, I've talked about it many times, is I'm definitely going to do a how-to video on that straight bar to the real saddlebags. My throat is so dry. I'm thirsty as all get out. As I drink all my coffee, yeah, would it be cool if I had all the technology and the knowledge to be able to put my own supercharger in my garage? Yeah, sure it would, but I do not have that capability. And that's a lot of work. If you look at that engine compartment, can you even imagine? I mean, sincerely, can you even imagine you yourself, you know, taking apart this whole engine? I mean, wow. So what happens to the support bars? Do I lose that? I don't know. I mean, you know, I even think myself, it's like the hood. Well, you know, you think yourself the hood will even close? It does, because Lethal Performance, Jared down there in Florida, he's already done all this. He did the stage 2. He's already done a bunch of things to his Mustang, and I always harassed the guys at Lethal Performance that Jared took my freaking Whipple supercharger. He got his like 6 months ago. If you watch Lethal Performance's YouTube channel, which he has one, showing off always his stuff that he sells, because he's such a big Mustang distributor for all the aftermarket performance stuff. Which, and that's something I was talking about to Dave yesterday. I was saying the guy that did the work on that Ford Mustang GT did the suspension work and shorty shifter and other things. So you know what? I think I got I think I had somebody come in. Oh, this is Brian. He's coming into work awful early this morning, so he's an early bird. There's the kid. How's the kid doing? So there they are. This will be the new 2 peas in a pod. They'll have to rename them to, that'll be their new name. 2 peas in a pod. Morning there.
How you doing?
Great. We're doing great. So you guys are just rocking and rolling this morning.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. You guys copied each other. Same color shirt. You know, she just doesn't have white, she doesn't have white shoes on, but you know, you guys like 2 peas in a pod. So the plan here this morning is you guys are gonna go to work today, but we're gonna take 3 cars because somebody's driving the race truck. I'm driving the Mustang, or I'm driving the race truck and you're driving the Mustang. No, we're going over to Silver Spring Ford where David works. And then we got to take the Bronco for you guys to be able to work out of that. And then I'll be able to leave and go do my thing. So I think Brian will be driving the Bronco over and you'll be either driving the race truck or the Mustang. And meanwhile, I got to get you guys set up to go to work. So see here now, I'm kind of the guy that's going to be holding up the gang to go to work today because I'm still doing my YouTube channel. So there it is. That shows you right there. I got to stop talking. I got to stop gabbing. So stay tuned for the adventures as we go to the Ford dealership and get the car dropped off and then get my daughter and Brian off to his first day, official day of working for me to see if this is something he thinks he'll enjoy to do. So as always, everybody, I really do appreciate everybody's support, comments, share the channel, help the channel grow. I mean, sincerely, it's so crazy how I try to keep my channel, I mean, it's challenging, upbeat, and exciting, and it's just incredible on how so many people just want to turn on the gloomer doomers. I talk about it all the time. It just blows me away that all people want to do is focus on the negativity of the world. Wow. Let's have some fun. Hey, did you have fun yesterday, Brian?
Amazing. I'll do it again.
Yeah, you'll do it again. All right, here it is. I'm going to call. God bless. Have a great day. Stay tuned for more adventures.